Although a common bird in its watery habitat, a sighting of the grey heron is special every time. Its considerable height and dignified bearing seem to make it a lord of all it surveys, as it waits with seemingly endless patience for a fish to stray too close. Its sheer size helps to identify this widespread resident. Only the darker and much shyer purple heron, the bigger white stork, and the even bigger common crane, all rare here, look at all similar. And when its height is coupled with the powerful dagger-like yellow bill, long wispy black crest, and long white neck with black streaks, there can be no doubt that you're looking at a grey heron. Although commonest in rivers, lakes, and marshes, herons are also well known as visitors to gardens with ponds. They can be an amazing sight glimpsed out of a window in the early morning, but fish should be well protected if you don't want them to end up as a heron's breakfast. In urban areas, it is also possible to see herons in flight as they move from one feeding ground to another. Look out for the slow beats of the large wings, with the head pulled back into the shoulders and long legs trailing well behind the tail. A heron's nest is also quite easy to spot, particularly if it's grouped with other nests in what is known as a heronry. Nests can be reused and built up over several years, which contributes to their sometimes scruffy appearance. Herons produce 4 or 5 eggs in a brood, and the pair take turns to incubate them. The hatched young resemble their parents quite strongly, although they are grayer around the face and neck, and go through a comical-looking punk phase, their crest feathers sticking out in all directions. The adults take it in turns to watch over the nest while the other is out hunting. Feeding is a solitary affair. Even several herons hunting together at a pond will keep as much distance as possible between each other. In the days when frog numbers were high in the Norfolk Broads, herons would space themselves out in line and march forward together, gorging themselves as they went. The main victims of the hunting heron are fish. The heron can stand still for long periods, waiting for a fish to get close before stabbing it with its fearsome bill. It is then that the heron's long neck comes into its own, suddenly shooting out to its full extent when a fish comes into jabbing range. An alternative tactic is wading slowly through the water, stopping frequently to check for prey. Perhaps the oddest behavior exhibited by this loner of a bird are its mysterious communes with others of its species. Sometimes groups of herons gather in the same spots regularly for years without any obvious communication between them. They stand motionless on one leg, with their long necks scrunched down so that they resemble a council of little old men. Nobody really knows what the purposes of these gatherings are, which is perhaps why this relatively common bird can still remain a bit of an enigma.